Alright, Chris, here's the first of your 3 cars that you sent me to be repaired slash updated or upgraded a little bit or something. Said you bought these on eBay. I think you bought them all 3 on eBay. I can guarantee you this one came from eBay because I know what seller built it just by looking at it. I pretty much tore everything out of the car and just started over. It was just easier to do it that way. I did leave the headlights and fog lights in there that were there, and then just changed out the LEDs for the front visor, the rear deck, tail lights, and the ones that they had around the license plate, which again, like I mentioned, were just white LEDs. And you can see this one here, they're just, I'll show the whole mess that was in there. It's just a clear LED, and they just take a marker or something, I guess, some kind of crappy paint or something, and you can see that scraping off on my thumbnail, and just color the LED, so it's not even a blue LED. This is what came out of the car. So for those of you buying these on eBay for a cheap price, this is kind of what you're getting. Anyway, beautiful work. Well, I won't call the seller out, but anyway, beautiful work there. And then a switch in the back so big that half the cars I've seen come back to me for repair from this seller, the switch hits the ground. A couple of them that have been sent to me, even the rear end of the car doesn't even touch the ground. So when you see videos of their cars on YouTube or eBay and wonder why it's always so dark looking and everything else, that's why. That way, because you won't see the wires hanging down from the car like you don't see on mine, and a lot of other hidden things, wires that were hanging in here that you could see. Just kind of a mess. And you guys know I hate doing the cutout for the battery. After seeing the inside of another one of these cars, I realized why there was a cutout, because they don't want you to take the car apart to see the mess that's in there. So anyway, I just left that the way it was, Chris, so I wouldn't have to replace the whole entire bottom. A couple melted places in here where they squirt a whole stick of hot glue, it looked like, to hold the car together once it's completed. So other than that, it's somewhat back to normal, or where it should have been sold to begin with. Power switch, I added a siren for you too. You wanted a siren, so I turned the power on, and I would switch that for you to a push button. Again, you can see just the headlight strobes that was put in, along with the red and blue strobe for the front. Like I said, I just left that front end alone. I did add a red and blue visor light. Removed the ones that were in there that had the wires hanging down out from the ceiling, and used rectangular LEDs, which look more realistic, plus they're wrapped a little bit with heat shrink, so they look like they're in a housing instead of just hanging down with wires. One of my circuit boards controls that, the rear deck and your license plate lights, to give a little bit triple strobe effect to them. Decals added to the laptop. Spun the laptop around a little bit closer to the driver, where the driver can see the laptop instead of the way they come in the factory, and also added another work light in there. As for your rear deck lights, again, the rectangular LEDs in housing, so they look a little bit more realistic. I think they had LEDs just laying up on the dash, and they were painted a color instead of actually being the true color of the LED itself. So anyway, that's why I find that a little weird. Flashing taillights, again, nothing special there. I think this may have had the strobe LEDs in there, but I changed them to flashing to break up the strobes a little bit. Blue and a red LED on the license plate light, again tied in with the circuit board. For the rest of them, I don't like doing the LEDs like this. They already had the round holes drilled and just big LEDs sticking through there. I usually put the rectangular LEDs in there, mounted up and down, so they look a little bit more realistic in that way too. So what I did with this, since the holes were already drilled, was just trim the LEDs down flush so they don't stick out like little mushrooms growing out of the bumper like they did look. Siren, just standard 4-tone siren. You've seen, most people have seen them heard them on the videos. Different tones when you press the button. Nothing too crazy there. And then I forgot, also added the license plate that you sent me. I had to put on there a little, I think it's Washington, D.C. License plate on there. So everything's done as you wished. Like I said, looks a ton better. I'm still not a fan of all the strobes. This builder uses almost, I think, all strobe lights on theirs, and it's just, I don't know, it's almost too much strobe. It almost looks like a UFO. You almost need some flashing and some strobe to kind of break up the effect a little bit. But anyway, I'll lay off of them. I have some antennas in there as well, put in a little Ziploc bag. Don't want to mount them because they'll probably come off in shipping, especially since this one wasn't in a bag or a box. I'll add some antennas in case you want to put some on your cars when you get them back. I didn't clean this one up, but you can see it's kind of got a little bit of a weird oil to it, but I will put some wax on this and clean it up real good before I wrap it to ship it to you. So, Chris, appreciate it. Thank you very much.